Afternoon all. Another fun day on a sort of aimless kind of carry on market. Look at this, up and down. Yep. Gets going and it changes mind, and it changes mind again. So yeah, it's an interesting time. No, it's not been doing well, then not, and it's just directionless. Again, it's well, I was going to say it's completely directionless. Doesn't know. Canadian didn't have much effect. Had a little bit of effect when CPI came out, and then it changed its mind again and decided no, not really that important. It's just waiting for somebody to give it direction. That's all it is. We haven't been too bad actually, considering the situation. Wait till we get direction, and you'll see it start to fly.
Afternoon, Roger.
Good afternoon. So I'm just going to type some out.
The CPI of Britain and Euro tomorrow, will it have a big influence?
Difficult to say, because I mean, it depends how it comes out. And the CPI came out in Canada, and that didn't have much effect. If it's much the same expected, I don't sure have that much effect. If it's different, it should have. Again, then you say what's like that happens above or below. Well, it depends on market reaction. It won't be like the CPI movement we get in the US, that is for sure. But if it's radically different, then you'll have. But how that radical different be interpreted, whether it's strong for the euro or inflation for the euro, depends. It's I don't know. But when I say I don't know, I mean what I'm saying. Nobody knows. Even the guy who knows the figures, at least, won't know how the market's going to react to it. And sometimes we had some rather surprising reactions, not as expected. So I wouldn't worry about what you can't control or what might or might not happen. You know what I'm saying? It's like worrying about the gold price going to be in 10 years' time. We don't know. So just let it run. If you're in profit, modify, not too close with stop loss. Stick with the EJS kind of trades. Stick with the modify, not too close thing, and don't let try and preempt that or put you off in any way what's like to happen with the euro, because you just don't know. If you're worried about that, then you can never ever trade. Yeah. So I just don't know. Nobody does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. Normally I can give
fine.
you an indication. Okay, but what I mean, I normally give you some indications of life, and that could be that. But because of the extreme skittishness and nerves out there in the market, they haven't exactly come clean about the recession, but it looks pretty likely they're trying to hide that because they don't want sudden panic out there. So there's a lot of skullduggery, I think, in my opinion, that is going on behind the scenes, etc. And I think a lot of just basically, even the analysts are not quite sure when they look out in the morning what the lighter scenario is going to be. So it's very little given a take on something who's so sort of up in the air at the moment. So in a nutshell, I wouldn't worry about it. It's a good question, so I'm spending a bit of time with it. I wouldn't not worry about it. I wouldn't start letting trying to preempt it. Just have to let it run and continue as normal, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Cheers. Okay, as I said, Nasdaq's jumping around, that decided to come off. Now I think, the natural reaction on that, normally you'd be correct. It's come off, well, that's great stuff. Then you go out and come back and he's popped up again. You say, why? Well, it's skittishness. Hey, it's supposed to come on at 6:30. The lights come back on at 4. So, well, it's good news, but it's a bit strange. Happy with that, but anyway, it's supposed to be a 4.5-hour load shedding. We're trying to change the mind. Okay. Okay, so we'll go back to Microsoft. Popped up to 290. As I mentioned, if you like the trade, gives you an opportunity to get a 290 on opening, take it. I don't think anyone did. I'm not sure if they did or remember that, but whatever. Anyway, it's starting to come back up again. So we'll see how that goes. Let it run. Don't try and predict it's going to go to 290 or 286 the next hour or so. That's absolutely impossible. We got a strategy. Our stop is a decent way away. We've taken the view. We think it's overcooked. As it goes up, it's likely to come off the tech stuff. I mean. So stick with it, let it run, and try not to stare at it all the time, and it makes you do funny things in your head. Okay. Easier said than done, I get that, probably the better way. All right, yeah, I've been jumping around the trades. Let's start off the AUD CAD we got out this morning. It's not really doing anything, really, but even Steve tried to pop down, then it tried to pop up, and it tried to pop down again. Might pop up again next 10 minutes, might not. Let it run. Even Steve's WTI, had a little bit of success. What's it doing now? There's nothing. I can't even begin to guess. I haven't looked at it yet. I haven't looked for 15, 20 minutes. I have no idea. I have to check it out. That's the problem. I should have a decent idea, but I don't, and that's the problem. Well, as it turns out, it's a pretty nice problem. It's actually going quite well. Okay, it's up $1 in profit per barrel, so that's okay. So that's going nicely. US dollar, Swiss franc was doing beautifully. Then it decided, normal story, jump up again. Short, just remember. We got in at 72. What are you on the 15-minute chart? Mega now chart came right down here. 53, a nice 20 pips in profit. Not a lot, but something. And then, of course, now we've had enough. That will bounce up again. So it bounces up again, and then now we're going down. Don't worry. It's just all it's telling you. The buyers and sellers haven't got a cooking clue. As an ex-girlfriend say, they haven't got a cooking clue. So just let it run. We've got our trades. This one's slight profit. WTI is a reasonable one. AUD's break even. Again, some of the other stuff we got out yesterday. Was it yesterday? Monday, Friday? Yesterday. No, yesterday. It was yesterday, wasn't it? NAS still slightly down, but we'll see. NZD-JPY. I don't think that's doing very well, actually. NZD-JPY. What have we got? A sell on that? Oh, it's not too bad. Just trying to come right again. I thought it stopped. You're a bit pear-shaped one stage. Well, that's not too bad. 24, 30. All right, it's down, but 6 pips. It was worse now. That's not too bad. Let it run. Microsoft, 291. I think the trade got in. Some guys got 290. Probably slight profit breaking even. So it's not exact disaster, despite the bloody world economies and markets all over the bloody place. It's actually not a bad run. I think we can pat ourselves on the back here, actually, to be honest. I'm telling you right now, a lot of guys out there are really battling at the moment. I know for the feedback I'm getting. So come join the trade or do this. Oh, yeah, we'll get around. Of course, they don't. Oh, well, fair enough. That's their choice. But I'm going to say, I'm going to take a step back. I'm sorry about this. Bragging rights, it hasn't been doing too bad because you should listen to Bloomberg and that's all over the bloody place. I think that's pretty damn good so far. Can you imagine when it really starts getting direction how well we'll do, right? Okay, NAS is down slightly, but it's trying to come right, so let it run. Okay, this is going back to Friday, AUD-JPY, 89.75 a sell. It's not too great at the moment. It's what, 25.50 pips negative. AUD-USD, I think some guys might have been stopped out in a profit on that because it did very well. It came, what are we on the daily? Try that one. Came right down here. So I think some guys might have stopped out in a profit. So if you were, you should have made about $50 profit. If you're still in, well, you're $50 up. And make sure you got your stop at least into profit wherever you happen to have it. Make sure you don't lose on that one. So it might even seem like NZD cap is a very nice one. That should put us back into the positive again. Just going through what the actual trades were, how you really got in, got out, whatever. Just going through actually how single trades went. NZD, ZD CAD. Okay, 84. That was doing very nice down there at one stage. But still, it's doing pretty damn good. Nice in a profit on that one. Just under 100 pips. So we're 90 pips ahead on Friday. 90 pips, guys. We're not even looking at the AGS ones at the moment. Euro GBP, not doing much last week, pretty quiet actually. So that's happening there. Euro GBP. So buy at 31, a few pips down. So we're net up big time on Friday. Okay today at the moment, net up actually today at the moment. Although I think that'd be great in the afternoon because the ups and downs, but still look at the figures there. Still net up on it. So Euro NZD 7544. That's that beauty. 200 pips in profit. Hey, 200 pips in profit. Doesn't matter, you can lose 3 or 4, 40, 50, you fell up. 200 on this one. What a pleasure. Okay, so that's another beaut. So yeah, I wouldn't get too sort of down the dumps on that. In fact, take a step back. It's not bloody bad, actually. Quite surprised. Not surprised, not at all surprised. As expected. That was a bit of a Freudian slip. Yeah, I'm a bit surprised, actually. I'm joking apart. I've done pretty damn well. Got another couple out, didn't do too well in the EJS, AUD, DH, didn't do too well. 59.83 is a short thing it was. Yeah, I'm not doing too well and got stopped out there. Yeah, stopped out on that one. Okay, so there it is. Put a little line there. Euro NZD didn't do too well. GBP-CF did beauty. They made up for the 2 losses, so that's evened out again. GBP-CAD, 65.79. Called EJS, this one is. That's the strategy one. We have the trading room strategy one. GBP-CAD, 66.33. That's not doing too well. So, but overall, it's not too bad. Okay, so that's just a quick précis, very quick, in fact, going through the few trades we had out, and overall net up. Yeah, quite frankly, all the busting decision getting out there, I think we can say that's not bad. The only time people do get screwed up with it a little bit is again they get that nervous. They either do fat finger, take the profit too quickly, press the wrong button, or do something like that. Well, I'm sorry, I can't. That happens. You know what I'm saying? But if you just look at the figures straight as we come out here, and that's proof of the pudding. What we got, what down here, and the ones we sent out, not too bad. Not too bad at all. Good morning, Marty. So, guys, give yourself a pat on the back. I think we're doing better than a lot of these so-called down by the head with degrees experts out there, isn't it? I know a lot of guys are paying out there quite a lot for signals and getting the feedback. They're not very happy. It's costing a lot of money. You'll get it for free, and they're not doing too badly so far. So wait till it gets good times. Dollar's moving now. Yep. Oh, about bloody time. About bloody time. Thank you, Marnie. If you want to get to the top in life, be the bearer of good news. Thank you. Thank you, Mia Frostein. Yeah, that seems to be trying out. What's the dollar doing? Show the dollar. What is the dollar doing? You all got the dollar index? I think you all got it. If you haven't, just let me know and I'll copy and paste it for you. Dollar index, if you haven't got it, say I haven't got it and I'll post it. If you don't, well, and you don't have it, you don't say so. There's only so much I can do. Okay, and the economic calendar I can copy and post if you don't have it. Okay, might do it later anyway. Okay, so yeah, that seems to be start to recover. I know Ken got in, I know I got in around about the 1990-ish, 1989, something like that. So that's starting to look a lot prettier. Is the NAS starting to look any prettier? That's the next question. NAS a little bit, not still a bit of way to go, to say the least. I was in a fat profit yesterday. Anyway, never mind. And what was the other one? NZDJPY, I think it was. NZDJPY was doing beautifully, fantastically. Then decided to jump up. Maybe it'll come off. Just hope it comes off because was a nice positive. Now it's a bit of a negative. That should come off. Okay, so there we are. Right, I think I've covered that. Microsoft is slowed down a bit, like most things. Okay. Anything on the trading idea front? I had looked at a couple of possibilities on this morning. I put on the watch list as mentioned to see if anything happening. That was the EURAUD. EURAUD. And by the way, sorry guys, if you do come up with something you want to have a look at, please you come first. Just bang on the chat line or on mute, either will be fine, and then we'll go that straight away. Okay, that takes total precedence. Questions can be asked, clarification with a quiet moment, I can go to that with absolute pleasure. But unfortunately, not fortunately, but correctly as it is, trading room, trade suggestions are top of the list, as I think, no, just to remind you. Okay, where was it? EURAUD. What was I hoping for doing on this? I was hoping to buy it. I think that's correct, buy it. Yeah, it was mentioned, see the company bloody standstill. It was mentioned, not by me, one of the presenters actually said, maybe we should look for a bounce off this. Why is that a funny looking trend line? Because we use this one here, the line chart, as you can see. Make sense? That's why I put the trend line in there. And so if it comes down a little bit further, maybe we can round about these levels here, and not just the trend lines. Some are a bit iffy on trend lines. They're putting so many funny different places, a line chart or on the wicks or on the body. You get the idea. But this is backed up by a bit of support there. So you come down to maybe that's a long way. Whoa! We come down that far. Maybe we'll look around about that level. If we come down there, we can look at a buy. I'm waiting for a buy on that one. But look at the hourly movement. Nada, nothing happening. Probably just where you weren't in there, it's just going nowhere. Another one looks at the possibility of the EURGBP, but my trouble that was too damn slow. If you look at the history, yeah, far too slow. I wanted to buy it, but just not happening. Look at this. Look at the 15 minute. Jumped around there and then just came to a stop. So it's a bit slow. So leave that one. And the other one, AUDCHF, was questioning that one. What I want to do with this one, I clearly sell it. Yeah, I was hoping to maybe if this holds a bit of a sell, or if it went up a little bit higher, maybe what you call it, a seller rally or a breakdown or a market or whatever. Still think you can come off a bit. Just again, look at that 4-hour chart, total indecision, total directionless. Till you disappear up your own, you know what? Yeah, leave it alone. It's not happening. I want direction. I mean, we all do, you know. You want to get in and get to your destination, not sit there in the traffic jam. And that looks to me like it's, I don't know where it's going. Okay, so that's my little précis of what happened this morning. Anything to add, guys? I've waffled a lot now. Your turn.
Just remember that EUR CAT that I picked up 9 o'clock that was moving in the correct direction, got stumped out on the CPI of Canada.
I didn't really jump too much in the hour. I didn't look at that one. Look at the I didn't jump too much. That came up as 3, didn't it? So 15 for yeah, jumped up a little bit. Yeah, did a bit actually. Yeah. Then came back
More than 30 pips in any case. So
okay, but I mean, okay. But anyway, so you're out of that one. Okay, fair enough. I looked at it as a buy anyway, but I just no, not really. No. Okay, if it comes back a bit more, where's the hourly? Yeah, we can maybe take it again. We've got the remember the CAD happened a couple of hours ago. It seemed to settle down. Look at the movement on it on the 15 minute. So it's seen to bounce around, settle down. So it might actually start to go back up again. I take you made a profit. Is that correct?
yes, I did 10 pips.
Yeah, all right, made a profit. Okay, 10 pips. You're not going to buy your new Learjet with it, at least it's a profit. Okay. My worry about technically speaking, momentum, it should be another buy, but these, all right, it's only at 1 hour. These lows are lowest, you know what I mean? Just get a bit nervous. I say I'm nervous, nothing to do anything else. It's when you get no direction. That's, trust me, when that occurs, that's when I get very, very, very nervous because I've got no control. You know, you get Joe Soper just starting. I heard about the trade, let me join. We've been doing 20 years, what do you think? My answer is, oh, I don't know. You know, it doesn't help the credibility cause. When these indecision occurs, all I can say mitigation. Better people than myself won't know. It's just it's finding a direction and getting very nervous and waiting for someone to lead and hopefully up or down. So normally speaking, I'd say here's another opportunity to grab it as a buy using the EGS in the momentum strategy one for another move back up. Still in the long zones, we've known from the daily chart. And I still think it's a good idea from that point of view. It's just this lack of direction, or it overcomes fundage, it overcomes experience, technicals, everything. It doesn't though. So I think just maybe a little bit cautious and be patient when this till we get direction back. On that one anyway. But I like it. It bounced off the 10 of the 10 and the 50 about a cross, and there are two active support areas as well. I have a strong chance that's going to hold. How far is it down? Let's see that chart, but 30 pips should be down here. Or down here somewhere. Okay. That in theory should be a buy as it is. Is there any bounce? Let's look at the 5 minute. Not really. It's not really giving a bounce yet. I think just be patient on that for the moment. Okay. Dollar index moved up the last couple of hours, and then it came back down again. I think that sums it up there, I mean, guys. Dollar index, 2 and 3 hour candles went up nicely, 108.65 to 101 to 101.95. Then pops down again. That's indecision. Probably the NAS doing the same. We're not looking at the NAS if you are, don't cheat, not with the NAS. Does anyone know it's going to be higher or lower than it was 10 minutes ago? We don't. That's the problem. There's no particular direction. So we have to look. Let's try to come off and give it a bit to do. Okay, so welcome to frustrated Raj. I hope it's doing okay. I haven't seen it jumped up again after all that. No, so it's popping up again. No, maybe. Oh, there you are. See, go figure. I mean, you can't trade that. I mean, you come down and it goes up. I mean, what the hell is that? You know what I mean? That's completely, utterly, I mean, not even flicking a coin. You flick the coin as tails, and you went to, and you guessed tails, you went to pick your prize money up, and the coin flicked back to bloody heads. And the guy heads picked it up. No, hang on, so he went to pick his money up, flipped back to tails again. No. Take it easy when this happens. You've had it before, those who've been around me for a few months, well, for a while anyway. When we get these things where indecision is the name of the game, maybe to discuss other aspects, maybe have a bit of fun discussing other areas, clarifying stuff, be very, very wary of trading this sort of market. Look at that, guys. Can you all see it? Anybody can see that. Look at that. What's that? What's that? You're in Joburg, you go to Durban, and you get to Paris, so you turn around, head towards Limpopo, then you change around halfway there, and you go back towards Durban, then you change around and go back up. What the hell is that? That's the way to do it to sanity, eh? Or a divorce. Okay. Right, so that's me. I've had my say. Exactly, Marley. Don't blame yourself. Don't do that. Don't try and look for logical explanations. That's just nerves out there, emotional nerves. That's that. That's not a fundy there, or suddenly a fundy 5 minutes later coming up. No. That's when the guys don't realize that, then they get burnt. Trying to trade with markets and that sort of up and down. Best just keep on the sidelines. That's you will get not just burnt, but frustrated because you're trying to predict the unpredictable. Just as I said a few minutes ago, they haven't been doing too badly these trades. Check it off a bit warmer, thank goodness. We haven't been doing too badly at all. So why spoil it by just trying to get cute? Can you imagine our beginner? I mean, see, I know these discussions sees that. If it's automatically think we're fiddling with the markets, stuff them around. So I don't bloody blame them. Anyway, okay, right. Most of the people in the names here, fairly familiar with. So you should be, yeah, you'll all have the stuff I've been talking about. You've all been here before. So, okay. I think all the names there know the score. I think one or two came in. I think might have got a bit confused. You tend to get sometimes guys who decide they'll come to the trading, it's a good idea at the time, and they haven't done any basic knowledge, and they wonder what the hell they got themselves into. Clearly, you can't go to second year university if you haven't done the first year course first. You've got to do the basics first. I'm not trying to tell you because you've already gone that route, but that's what happens. We've seen already, hey, fine, guys come on and they've asked questions, means they haven't looked at the, or even bought a course or anything, then they are going to find it a bit bewildering. Okay, so, right, anything you want to discuss there? I think we're all right for economic fundamentals for the rest of the day. I don't think anything more coming out. Let's check. Now, they're all 2-star jobs. Let's check tomorrow's all inventories coming out tomorrow. And let's just give me a second. Anything coming out tomorrow? It's going to put on the week event. Get this out, this is crowding me. Where's Tuesday then? Tuesday. Right, Wednesday. We've got Euro CPI coming out tomorrow. I think somebody mentioned that. And we've got the ZAR keeping up. SA coming out tomorrow. Maybe we'll do a straddle trade on that. What do you reckon, guys? And then pound CPI is coming out, mentioned. There's a couple inventories coming out. Anything else a big note? That's about it. Yeah, that's about it. Nothing too big coming out at the moment for the rest of the week, I don't think. Nothing horrendous. Okay, that's something anyway. Okay, right. Tapella, Alexander, Tamang, Sibylla, Musa, Pete, Marnie, anything you'd like to discuss, anything you'd like to question? You all saved your charts, I take it. You all know specifications, how to get there. You all know about the moving averages. If you want to do technical indicators on top of that, obviously they're there to be used if you're happy with them. Try and keep your charts with it uncluttered, or save 2 or 3. One with one type of indicator and another with another. You can save as many as you like. Show you how to do that. I think you've all been in long enough to see me do it. I think you all know how to cut your position now. You don't have to bank the entire trade. You can, partially close it if you want. If you don't, I'll go through that again. You all got my number as far as I know, and you've all got the economic and all the other bits and pieces, which I cover most times. You all look like you've been here before, so that should be okay. If I've missed anybody, please say, hang on, what are you talking about? What was that? I'd like to have a look at it. I'll do with pleasure. These quiet moments at the moment. Yeah, it's a bit like the light switch, the electricity supply, yeah. Marnie, yeah, that's a good point. I want to make that. It's so simple. The problem is, I'm telling you right now, the trouble is clever people can't understand something can be actually quite straightforward. So in their mind, they automatically complicate it. And sometimes it is. You're going to try and split the bloody atom, or particle physicist or something like that. Yeah, that's a different ballgame. But you don't need that here. You've got to really understand price action, what the buy and sellers are doing, and watch the momentum. And the highs and the lows, like the roof and the ceiling. Absolutely. You can complicate as much if it gives you more interest to really, put a few indicators on if it adds to the thrill of it. But I just find indicators tell them what the price action is doing. I can see what's happened to oil. It's popped up. I don't need a lagging indicator to tell them it's strengthening. I can see that by looking at that. And by the time that's happened, the indicators only start to respond. Remember, all these indicators are going for quite a while. And when technical analysis was the rage of trading, about 18, maybe more % was tech, and 20, 15% was what happens outside. But because the advent of instant communication through the smartphone, it's changed a lot now to fundamental and emotional manipulation through the news media. So you've got to fill in, sort of get the pulse on that. And the quick and easiest way to do it is what the buyers and sellers are doing. Yeah, you can see what the buyers and sellers are looking at that candle. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely, very, very important point you pointed out there. So if you want to complicate it, some people do. They like to keep themselves nice and complicated. More complicated the crossword, the better. That's fair enough. But the results, I think, probably just going to keep it simple. And you find overall it seems to be okay. Well, stick with it. Why put an extra 20 gears on the motor car for 4 or 5 work for you? I get that, Musa, and that's great. The point is, we're on your side, and when you interact like that, it helps us and it helps you as well. That's great. Because it's amazing how the mind works. I mean, we had the guy, I'll forget his name now, here a few months ago. He was a piano teacher. So it staggers him how many people who come in and want to be a concert pianist after 5 or 10 weeks. And the reason, it's not so stupid, you think about it. We don't like not being in control. And when you don't know, you're not in control. And if you don't have knowledge, you're not in control and you have fear. And you want to get rid of that fear and get in control at the quickest possible speed. So unfortunately, unless the thing is not worth anything, it's completely unskilled, it takes a little bit of time. But there will be a barrier, like most things in life, will suddenly one day wake up and the penny drops and the concept suddenly there right in front of you. You probably find that in life, you look back. Of course, you bloody idiot. Why didn't I see it then? Just like a concept, like a penny dropping, you know? So give it a chance. The fact you come to trade not once, but twice, you haven't given up like most guys come in. See, it's a bit beyond me, but give up and then never come back again. It's a bit difficult, and that's the end of that. And they wonder why they're baffled, you know? And you realize that. No, that's fine. That's no problem. What's the matter doing now? All over bloody place, I suppose. Let's look. See, look, I have to look. See, I have not the slightest idea. All she said was take a look at the NAS. That means going up or down. Because it's directionless, I haven't got a cooking clue. It might be shot up 100, it might shot down. You see what I mean? You've closed the WTI. Probably a bit quick, that's up for you. That's coming off again now. Oh, look at that. But I didn't know till I looked. See what I mean? I had to look. That's when you know it's difficult to know what the hell's going on. You should have an idea. You know, in the old days of technical trading, you know, you go down and then you take pop up and then you get in again, maybe a Fibonacci retrace and go down. And you had a pretty good idea. You'll still get the buy, so always will get that. Give an idea. When you come back a couple of days later, it's going to be slightly more in your direction. Now you come back. Now let's all stop this and come back in hour's time. We'll be right back up here again. You know, that's when it makes it difficult. You're chasing a bit quickly, WI. You've got to trade up. I've been mentioning this a lot of times, guys. You know, you've got a strategy. Stop just taking profit quickly because you're getting a bit nervous. That's not 100%, by the way. I've done it, and sometimes I've been correct in doing it. So I'm not saying you're wrong, one Dini. Far from it. What I am saying is you can make a habit of taking the profit too quickly. You might make the odd dollar here or there, but in the end, you're going to get a bad one, and that will wipe out your 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 good ones because you're only taking $1 wins and you're taking $10 losses, and you're not going to get a 10-to-1 win against loss. And even if you did, you break even. So be careful of that. I mean, you should be in the strategy. You should be holding it. I think it's 80. What else is it now? 83.66. That's your strategy, and that's way out of the way. Give it a chance. Suddenly grabbing it now. You know, if you made 10 cents, you understand what I'm saying? It's not a winning trade, even though you come out in a profit. Because every time you lose, you're going to lose 10 times more than when you win. It's the wrong way around. I've just mentioned a couple of trades we got at the moment. 1 or 2 are doing 150, one was 200 pips. Stick with it, and they'll wipe out 3 or 4 bloody stopped out losers. You start grabbing your profit every 5 seconds. There's no way you're going to win that way. I know it's tempting, but don't, please. One guy on today, and he's on the commissions. He wasn't on the spread, and you're going in and out, and didn't why he was getting backwards. So I tried to explain to him because your costs. You know, if you sell the shirt for 10 rand, but you bought the shirt for 15, you haven't made 10 rand profit, you made 5 rand loss. And guys seem to battle to get that concept. When you battle to get the concept, it's quite basically as simple as that. It's not really know how to work the guy. You know what I mean? Because it's, you can't grasp that, you're getting a battle with this. But the bottom line is you've got to give the trade a chance. And yeah, so not knocking it, you might be right. You might have gone to profit, others are going to loss. So far from that, but just try and make everyone, guys. Marnie admitted herself that she's been putting a stop loss too close and finding she's out, and then not on board the trades that do the 150. And when you get those, then you're smiling because they wipe out 1 or 2 losses. I'm sort of spread it out because I've been telling a lot of people a long period of time, and they're still not starting getting it. So I'm sort of spread it out. I'm trying to find ways like to get this concept and stop and get away from the absolute total animal emotions, because that will often lead you astray. Brilliant, 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 brilliant. I've read the whole thing. All I've seen is this. I change my prop take from money to not points, pips, by the way. Pips and find it elsewhere. Absolutely. You're after pips. The money will take care of itself. I mean, did you make on that? The guy says 200 Rand. That's a completely meaningless statement. If the guy's got 1,000 Rand, that's 20% profit. That's a phenomenal return in a day or two. The guy's got 100 grand, it's peanuts. He's going to be disappointed. The 200 Rand means nothing. It's the pips. You're absolutely right. You're chasing pips. If you can keep a journal and you see and say, right, at the end of a month or something like that, your X amount, you divide it up into weeks and days and the rest of it, and you see a fairly consistent in the region, let's say 125 pips, then maybe carry on for 2-3 months, give you good times and bad, give it a chance to get a decent, a comfortable average that is very consistent or reasonably consistent. Then it's quite simple. Don't try and increase the amount of pips you're going to earn, increase the volumes you're putting on it. So next time you made 20 pips, you made 2,000 Rand instead of 200. And then maybe in 2 or 3 years' time, you're making 20,000 on 200 pips instead of 200, because you got bigger position size. So absolutely spot on. And that's a beginner, just started coming up with it. So we can all do it. Hello? 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 Could have been important. Okay. Yeah, you're quite right. Well, not my advice, your advice. You came up with saying for fun, but I mean, you came up with it. That's exactly it. What you're after is pips. Once you can conquer that, the money will look after itself. And the other one is look after the downside, the upside look after itself. Get the position size right. Don't try and run before you can walk and all the other cliches. Get those disciplines in action, and you'll never get 100%. Sorry about that, but you'll certainly get more confident in your trading. And that's another aspect. Because we're so emotional, you know? You have 3 bad trades, you suddenly lose your confidence, and you miss good ones, you go into small, and they turn out to be winners. You get overconfident, you double up and triple up on the next couple, and they come back and bite, and all that good work's put back again. You ask Mark, you'll know what I mean. He's not here, he'll back me up on that. You know, had a good run, he can't shut the laptop down, he's got it, he's hooked now, and he's got to find some trade that doesn't exist. That's emotion taking over, unfortunately. You're not going to get that tomorrow, anybody there, I don't care who you are. But as long as you're aware of the concept, you've got some goal to work on. That's why I don't like people playing around on the demo. It's just self-kidology. If you can't get the concept, let them do it. It's self-kidology, because you don't take that emotion out of it, you take probably 80% of the skill in life out of it. Why is a top golfer better than number 1 earning millions, and number 2 or the number 10 isn't? The difference in probably of work ethic and talent, probably not that much. It's the mental control stuff that makes the difference between the Djokovic's and the Tiger Woods and these sort of guys. You know, they're special up in between the ears, and then you get another person who's got all the skills, all the privileges, came from wealthy men, all of it, and he's just hopeless because he doesn't have those concept mentally, if you see what I mean. And that's really what we need to be on, and that's what you're getting at. Right, that's an often question I get asked. There's no such thing as what lot size, because one size does not fit all. 1 micro on the normal, not the micros, but I mean on the normal 0.01 is a micro. 0.01 on the Dow is a very different size to 0.01 the gold, because gold is about $2,000 an ounce, while the price of the Dow last was about 33,000. So it depends where the stop is. If the stop loss is 50 pips away, you can make a bigger position for the same risk. It's 200 pips away. That's not what you need to be doing. Is not looking at what the lot size is what you're prepared to risk in a $5 grand account, and through your position size calculator, work it out accordingly. I'm going to hang on, Marie. I want to mention this because this is complicate something. It's that simple. Now, it's your money, Marnie. I'm going to suggest we can do what you like. If you've got 100 million rand, you've been just waiting for it to come loose and you're banging on it, it doesn't matter. But let's say you got $5 grand. That's the only thing I know it's only going to work with, right? I'm suggesting you should be risking more than 300, 350 at most, but certainly no more than about 300 rand per trade. So if in a $5 grand balance and you're looking at, and then you're in the ABC, BBC, and you're down 500, 600, and you're still in, means you're grossly overexposed, right? So 300 rand. So what you do then is we're going to do a fake trade now to show exactly what I mean. I've got this concept to get across. Right, so lot size irrelevant. This is 300 we're going to risk. What we're going to do with, we'll do WTI. We're going to buy it, leave it alone. Okay, we're going to buy it. I'm going to put the stop loss in at, make it 78.25. What the hell, doesn't really matter. And then we're going to put the TP in at, let's make it 85, 85.50, make it just whatever, doesn't matter. All you need to do is look at the risk reward. Make sure it's done right. Okay. Now this is all wrong again, so do it all over again. Just be patient, Stanley. 78.75, and we'll make that 85 or 85, pick it 0.1. What the hell? Take it this time. That's better. Right. First, you look at the risk reward. Is it below 1.5? No, it ain't. That's happening. No problem with that. Next, you look at this figure here. That's $40, okay? Not 39.66. Come on, 40 rand. So what is the lot size? You want to risk 300? Well, I can go off the top of your head. 4/8 is 32. So if you go 0.04, you're risking 320. Are you comfortable with that? No, you're not. You're comfortable maybe 280. Then you go 0.03. You come with 320, go 0.04. You get the point, right? Now you do another one. Let's go and check something else out. Let's go and do US dollar CAD. Let's pick whatever the calculator comes up, long or short, or fair out. Doesn't really matter. Let's say we're going to go buy on this one. What's happening now? There we are. We're going to put the stop on this one. Put it down here. What the hell? Down there. Come on. Do as you're told. There we are. Put the stop there. We'll put the TP up there. 1.34. There we are. What's that? 1.34. We're in an hour 15-minute chart. That was nonsense. And we'll put the TP up here. There we are. 1.355. 1.355. Okay, there we are. Now we do that trade. What's it telling you? 1.96 over 150. No problem. This one is 120. So if you take 3 micros on it, 360, you're over 300. You don't mind 5 or 10, maybe 20, but 60 is too much. So you've got to go one down. So you have to go 2 micros. Do you understand? That's what you should be looking at. What you pay the risk, as a percentage of the balance that you have, and then accordingly do your position size calculator, divide that micro amount into it as long as you've got the right risk reward, and that will give you a position size. One day you might have 0.05, another 0.01, another day you might have 0.1, depending on the situation. Hope we're all clear on that. This is vital. I'm so glad you asked, because I'm convinced a lot of guys just not getting this basic concept, which is absolutely vital to be got. Are you with me? Vital. Okay. That's what you mean, yes. No, you see, the thing is, it's like a sociopath. If you don't have conscience, it's actually not too bad, because you don't feel bad if you go shooting someone or beating them up. or you do something wrong or thieve, because you got no sense of right or wrong. On the demo, you got no sense of right or wrong, so it doesn't matter. So if you'll just go and do it and it doesn't matter, you forget about it. And then you suddenly go to the live and it's a completely different ballgame. I always say it's like a 3-foot putt on the driving range. You go and you practice on the putting the driving range there, and you'll probably score 10 out of 10. And somebody steps up behind and says, make this one, I'll give you $1 million. You'd probably miss it. You'd be shaking so much. You get the idea. It's all the mind. Okay. Well, this is vital. I mean, you can study all the other stuff in the world if you like, read a lot of books, whatever. But unless you know these basics, it's like being a car mechanic, an expert under the bonnet. All you want to do is get down to your daughter's wedding in Cape Town or Joburg or Durban, wherever you're going, and you don't know how to drive the car. What's the point? You know what I mean? Silver. Where's silver? Here we are. Right. First thing you do, you look at silver. Have you looked at silver before? Whether you have or not, you're going to say to me right now, no is the answer. The first thing you do is, right, silver is similar to gold in the way it behaves. It's very rare you're going to see gold going up and silver going down. Much it happened the other day, hey, Farney, and the Dow went up and the NAS went down. I'm not saying it's impossible. We saw a silver down the NAS, but I haven't seen on that yet, by the way. Probably has at some time in the past, but what I'm saying is extremely rare. So they're similar. This is based the poor man's friend of gold, if you like. However, the next thing you'll look at is you highlight it, you right click, because I show you every time, and guys still ask, and they don't know. Well, maybe I'm not explaining it right. Left click, right click, left click on specification. You've got to know the contract size, and let everybody know it. Silence. And now, maybe a day later, somebody comes to live chat. Oh, I didn't know that. And I know for a fact in the trading room, they didn't ask. And then that's the problem. If you don't know the mass of it, I'll explain it. If you still don't know, well, maybe you've got to start questioning a few things. It's like if you can't read or write, you better, before you look for a job, learn how to read or write. You know what I mean? You've got to understand basic arithmetic. So that's the contract size. Remember, on gold, it's 10. On silver, it's 500. But silver is $25 an ounce, not 2,000. So you can't say 0.01 is the same across the board. That just means you don't know and you haven't found out or done the basics, or I don't know. So we know now it's 500. What does that mean? We haven't got any trades. I know Farney and Anne-Marie are going to be sitting there, Ken and a few others are going to be, Pete probably as well, and we sick to death of hearing this. But I'm convinced the guys are still not starting getting it. What does that contract size mean? It's no good in having access to information if it's in bloody, I don't know, Greek to you. You've got to understand it. All that means the contract size is 500 times that in dollars. Okay? This is just a deposit. What's that mean? It's the leverage. That's a 0.004% deposit. So it's divide that into 1,000, it's about 250 to 1. Is that right? So your leverage on silver is about 250 to 1 on a 500 to 1 account. That's easy to do it top of your head, but at least if you can't, just get a calculator out. Okay, now coming back, that means 500. So the exposure, the contract size is 500 times that figure, so which is what? 500 times that will be what? 10 times that's 5,000, so that's 20,000, be $22,500, right? 22,000, isn't that can't be right? It's 1,000, be 25,000, 12,500, sorry, $12,500, $12,250. Get it right, Roger. Sorry, right. The contract size on silver is 500 times 25 with $12,250. Right. What's that? That's about 1,200. It's about what's that? 12,500. 12,250 is 120. It's about 200,000 rand. So that's about 200,000 rand is the reduced grams. Okay. So 200,000 rand is the actual exposure on 1.01 contract. Right. Obviously, you put your deposit down. That's the exposure. You put 2% deposit on your house, and just because 2,000 give out your back pocket or whatever it is, but it's still your response to the house. The million rand house you bought is exposure. You got that. So 200,000 rand exposure, one standard lot. Right. Now we go to a mini. That's obviously a tenth of it. So 200 now 20,000, and a micro is 2,000 exposure. And you put down the relative deposit as required. Does that now make sense? If you look at the contract value on an NGAS, clearly it's going to have a higher figure. It's going to be a 1,000. You can check in your specification in case it's changed. You quickly check it at all times. In case the company has changed it, it's up to the market maker to change the margin if they so want, or the contract size should they require. It's up to them. Some companies, like a lot of guys trading with MT4, have 100 instead of 10 on gold. It's up to them. Okay, so 1,000 would be 1,000 times the price of NGAS. But NGAS is only a couple of dollars, so clearly that's the difference. It's not 30,000; it's $2 a cubic liter. So the contract size obviously will be bigger. So going back to that, 500 multiply that comes to 12,250 or 200,000 rand per standard exposure. Divide by 10 for a minute, and again by another 10 for a micro. Then you can go back and say, right, let's have a look at what we're going to do with silver. Are we bullish on gold? Well, it's likely bullish on silver. Has it pulled back? Yes, it is. Let's have a look at the weekly. We're looking like a possible bit indecision there, but let's say you like it, you want to do a trade on it. So we'll do one. You get your calculator out, and then you do this. You say, right, we're going long. Where's a good stop on this? Below the lows here. So we'll put it down here out of the way. And we need to get it right out of the way. Don't get too close, too far away. And that looks a long way, but it's 24.50, 25.20. So it's only 70 cents away, but this is 25. It's not 2,500. Please understand the mass of it. Now we need a TP. It's going to be worth your while. Now we look a bit higher. We can see if we put it there, that clearly ain't going to be 2 to 1, ain't like it. So you've got to look at a TP up there somewhere to make it. Put it there, 26.80. That will try that. Again, you see, you've got to start thinking this way. It's not that difficult. Just diving in without doing anything. It's really what a lot of people do. So worry. To 8.26. There we are. To whatever the hell it was done. And it does it for you. That's too much. So bring that down to maybe there. Maybe a bit further down to there. There we are. That's your TP. That's fine. Over 1.5. What's it say there? 66 per 0.01. Marnie, call it 65 into 300. We know 5, 6 are 30. So 5, 5 are 25. So it'll be 325. You might want to take it. Then you go in that case by 0.05. If you're a bit worried, go 0.04. So it doesn't matter your leverage or anything else. This does it for you, and not with a lot size. A lot size determines what you're prepared to risk and what the risk is per micro. Have we got this? I beg of you, have you got it? Because you cannot trade unless you get this basic arithmetical, not mathematical, arithmetical principle. You're going to really have a problem. And remember, the derivatives market out there is much more complicated than this. You're battling to change gear, and you want to become a car engineer. You've got to start questioning, being honest with yourself. Are you up to it? You get the point. You got it, Marty. Yeah. Have the other guys got it? Because this is important. These quiet sessions, there's not many trades coming out, can actually suddenly pull out some stuff that might actually be more favored than a good trade, because these things really need to be ironed up. I mean, Sephora, you work, hey, I bet you half the guys work with you won't know those basics there. You will, because you take the time to attend and get an idea. Guarantee a lot of them just not getting that idea. And that's where the problem is. And it's frustrating because it's unnecessary. I don't know what the gold price is going to be in half an hour's time. That's a variable. But we can clean this up. And it's a pity to lose out on a great trade just because you can do the basic arithmetic of it. And that's what I'm telling you, what people are complaining about a lot of times of trades. We look back in them, so what we complain about, none wrong with those trades. Then we look at their account, and it's complete, utter hollyhocks. And most of it is incorrect volumes of understanding these basic arithmetical ideas on it. So I get carried away, I get passionate about it because I do care. I don't like you. We're like a family in here. You don't like your family to trip up on something that was unnecessary. Yeah, it mustn't be anything. It's up to you. A lot of guys do one-to-one. I just like to have 1 to 5. But I'll be honest with you, Adam, a lot of times doesn't much point anyway, because they take the profit too quick anyway. They're working a lovely risk reward. Hey, that's great. We'll go at 1.86, and then it goes up 10 pips, and they take it. So that means you might as well have a risk reward of where you have the stop down here and the TP here for all the good it does, because that's what they're actually working at in the end. And take profit circles. Again, that's emotion. Again, that's why on the demo, new strategies, understanding how to operate the platform, and get off it. You're doing yourself no favors on the demo. You're playing on the driving range. And the longer you're on the driving range, the more scared you're going to start putting for dough. When you go in the real attack, when you start hitting it properly. See, this times like this, you bring up stuff we think we all know, and suddenly find we don't. And that's when it can be useful. Like a while back, I just suddenly realized everyone didn't know the kind of position. It should be. He's quite a good trader, actually, quite knowledgeable, been doing for a while. Well, I didn't know that. So it's sometimes good to go back to basics. And some like in the tech stuff. Well, I didn't know. That's a bit of a shortcut. I didn't know about that. I'm using the MetaTrader 5 platform for a couple of years. Some little tweaks you suddenly, oh, hang on. And that little tweak can make such a difference. Like keeping your arm straight. If anyone plays golf, you know what I mean? You keep practicing, it goes wrong. So this guy ambles up to you, free of charge in 10 seconds. You're bending your left arm on the upswing. You shouldn't be doing that. You should be keeping it straight. I know it's awkward, but that's the way it is. And then you suddenly keep it straight and think, bloody hell, that tiny little bit of information there. Hours and hours of reading books and that tiny bit of information. And remember all these fancy buddy things like this, put it back here and this up here, works if you're gonna abide by the TP. But as we know, we modify, and that's correct because we don't know it's going to get there. Don't keep your stop too close. I'm going to get stopped out in the ups and downs, and somebody's still going to come up and stop you out. Even if you had 40 pips, you're annoyed that it goes up again. But that's an unknown. That's a variable. We can't control that. But at least you instead of making 100, you made 30, 40. Disappointing, but it's better than taking a loss. And he gets all the way up here. And like a lot of guys out there, they just leave it. And they think, I paid all this money and don't pick up a page of the books to learn it. And it comes down, it stops them out. And they turn that beautiful winner into a loser. That is definitely not wrong. Okay. I tell you what, the problem is, guys, I can see it all the time. We're so self-absorbed with our own personal want. We don't think about what you go about to give to balance that equation to get what you want. You know what I'm saying? And I find that one of the major problems worldwide is so fixated what you want. You're not thinking, what does the other guy want so I can give that other person something so they can give me something. They're going, well, I want from you, but that's fine, but what are you going to give me in return? And we get so self-focused or self-absorbed on that. And it's concept. Well, like Zig Ziglar said it years ago. Help other people get what they want, you'll get what you want. It's staggering how few people seem to grasp that basic concept. Staggering. They're so fixated on what they want, they can't see anything outside it. And that's why they get sort of, stuffed around, basically. I'm a 5 and I want to go out with an 8, but I don't want to go out with a 2. Well, why, if I don't go with a 2, why should an 8 go out with me as a 5? I don't think that way. Makes sense, hey guys? Start thinking a little bit, get an objective concept on it, and it makes a lot of things in life, don't mind, this fall into place. And you realize people aren't evil, quite frankly, it's stupid, to be really honest. Oppressors as well. The oppressors wouldn't be so oppressing, the oppressors wouldn't be so oppressed. They just thought a little bit. Well, sorry, you're going to say something funny?
No, I was just thinking, I had a look at the bank results that was supplied.
Okay,
and
good stuff, brilliant.
that was quite good for Bank of America, but the other one was not so fresh.
Okay, let's have a look. What happened to Bank of America? Thanks, you got those. What's happening here? Here's a little tip as well, guys. When you straight go to something you haven't looked at for a while, a lot of data might have fed through. I mean, I haven't been to the, let's say, a monthly on this. Often it goes blank. Look at this happening. All the data's got to come through. So if you go to, let's say, the BAC again, and you put on the daily, it might be just to click on the 4 for a moment or two, then click back again. just to make sure that's up-to-date information. How they're doing analysis on the incorrect information because it hadn't fed through, depending on the speed of your internet, of course. Okay, now on that basis, sorry, fine, just want to look at this again because you mentioned it. Information, it was quite good. Well, why has that happened then? Why has it come off? It's the information. If the news was good, why has it come off? Remember, this has only been open an hour and a half. So that 1 hour candle is almost a daily candle, to be honest. You remember what that is? It's only been open an hour and a half or so. So why has it come off then if the news was good on BAC?
No, they had a discussion on Squat Box with the CEO as well. And one of the things what he mentioned, if I remember correctly, was that the results was good compared to the other ones, but the effect on lending of the customers, and he forecast that the results won't be that good next quarter.
Now that makes sense. That makes sense. Hence the dive. Okay.
So before pre-market opening, it was quite good. And then as soon as the market opened, I also had a look at it now and I see it dropped. But it was much better, it was above $30. I think the forecast was $30.45 or 35 or something like that.
When was it, $35? $35, it was back in around about this time, yeah, February.
It was like $30.35 or something. So it was much better pre-market, and then it seems that with opening it dropped again.
Yeah, well, you can see that's exactly what happened, yeah. Okay, so in other words, never mind the results were, the forecast, because remember, the Forex and all these are not looking at the now. We know what the now is. They're looking ahead. So they know that the thing's been released. They're looking at what is the likelihood of the next step, and they're pricing the next step into the market. Make sense? So we know now bomb's gone off from the Persian Gulf. So we know what the price of oil is now because immediately is a result of that information coming out. The next step is they will think, what is the repercussion like to be of the next few months, few weeks, year, or whatever, and they start pricing that expectation in. They're looking forward, not at the now, if you see what I mean. Okay. What was the other one you looked at? Was it Charles Schwab or any of the others? JP? We'll go to GS. Is that tomorrow? Isn't it? GS is tomorrow? Goldman Sachs tomorrow? Because that's taking a bit of a jump, isn't it?
No, that was today as well.
Well, that's taking a bit of a jump. So that looking pretty healthy, am I right then? Did you see any news on Goldman Sachs?
Pre-market, it was down, and it seems that it started up low and then it got up well.
Yeah, I can see it. That's obvious. We can see that. What I'm trying to ascertain is the information that was released just on Goldman Sachs. Did you see anything on it? Was it particularly great, or what was it? Because I can see what the price action is in front of me. What I'm saying is, what did you get any information to actually what happened on any release of any figures? Because I didn't see that. Not because it wasn't there, I just didn't see it because I was.
No. I can't recall exactly now the differences between the banks. I had a discussion with analyzing it, but bottom line is the big banks are healthy, but the smaller banks struggling with deposit withdrawals.
That's what I thought you were going to say. Right, despite Janet Yellen trying to rescue it, put the fear. Once you put the fear into somebody, the irrational starts going to the background and they start reacting, and they let the bloody cat out of the bin when they said they'll look after the big banks like SVB, over 250,000 deposits. The government would look after deposits, not the bank itself, no, but the depositors. And then she remarked that they're probably not the smaller ones. Well, wouldn't you do that? You get out of your smaller one and get your money into a bigger one because you know you're protected. And that's clearly why it's had a run onto the bigger banks. And you can see from the price action there. Yeah. Okay, that's the reason then, yeah. That makes total sense. Now that makes total logical sense. That's when we command, when it makes sense, that's good. When it makes no sense, that's when you start getting very nervous.
Very
Like the
true.
Good Samaritan story. Stop to help the person, he turns around and beats you up. That doesn't make a lot of sense. So that's often reality, isn't it? It's often reality.
No, it's true, because there was also a discussion that this morning they mentioned also on Squat Box that it's amazing with the high interest rates that
Hello,
the
I'm in the trading room at the moment. Okay, fine. Sorry, what was that?
now this morning there was a discussion that the high interest rates in America, there's nowhere that any of the Americans can get interest rate on bank deposits more than 0.375%. So Apple is now opening a bank where they will supply or their interest rate forecast will be more than 3%.
Yeah. You see, well, what happens there is because of these problems, they're getting much more choosy about who they're loaning to. Because even though, let's say, Fannie Mae is a great credit risk, nobody's lending some more. But they're starting to look, let's tighten it up a bit, because even though there's a good credit risk and he's on a good salary of 250 grand a month, you probably say, I wish. The problem is he's a bit over indebted, he's overexposed, he's got very little free margin left. So I think they're getting much more sticky on that, because banks in the past, for good credit, just lend you, even if you know you got 10,000 coming in, now you're going to pay 10 grand back. If they can see that, I don't care. You somehow you pay all the time. So they got far more stringent on the loaning and of course the interest rates. So even if a bank does, like Apple said, oh, they're very clever, they're coming in, they're very innovative. They'll instead of lending at 3.5, they'll lend at 3. They'll track that. But believe you me, be a flood of inquiries. It'll be interesting to see how many actually get granted the loan. You know what I'm saying? There'll be probably an enormous amount of people turned down on it. So yeah, we'll see. But that's the one aspect that is actually counter-inflation, which is doing Powell's job for them, is the tightening up of banks now on their lending. Now they're getting far, far more stringent than they were before the sudden SVB collapse. Much more so, which actually makes sense, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I'm not usually a clever lady, but I mean, to make a statement that we're not going to encourage people to leave the small bank the big just because again they have their money and they got a lot of it protected. I mean, finally, I can't believe someone made a statement like that. You got $5 million tied up in a bank and it's unprotected. And if you move it over to Rogers Bank, which will be protected by the government, I mean, excuse me, how are you going to get on that bloody laptop right now and transfer the sodding lot, aren't you? Clearly, obviously. And that's what happened.
For sure, everybody wants security.
Everybody does. It'd be insane not to. In fact, if I was your wife, Fardy, and you didn't, you lived in the same bank, I'd bloody well take the bloody rolling pin and start belaboring around your bloody head there. You'd be in big trouble with me, my friend. I'll say, you know, mate, get that money over. I'm making a bit of a joke of it, but I mean, you know, common sense, and that's what happens. Now they're struggling, but like everything else, they're the little guys. Don't take this the wrong way, they don't care. They can fail. These guys can't fail. They're too big, systematic problems, and they know that, so get them up.
No, it's true.
Looking after the little man is something Hollywood makes the masses nice. That's why these Erin Brockoviches and David Goliath stories so beloved by the people sending out there. No, in reality, no. It's like these lawyers, you know, the little lawyer beats the guys on $2,000 an hour. Yeah, it might have happened in that story of John Grisham or whatever, but it might happen now and again, like, you know, you can win the lottery now and again. But guys are not going to take out $2,000 lawyers, $1,000 an hour lawyers, if they think they're not going to get what they want, you know, obviously. But again, we don't think, you know. Crazy. Crazy. No, it's an unfair world. If you've got it all. If you haven't got anything. It's a bit unfair. And socialism, all these other communism, all these things are trying to rectify it. Hasn't worked. Look at Venezuela, Russia. It doesn't work. Unfortunately, animal survival the fittest seems to be the name of the game. Eh? I don't know what you think, but that's what I see. The rest is Hollywood. But that brings it, May. Excuse me. Okay, I'll press 9. You can let him in. Okay. Thanks very much. Sorry about that. Some quite important coming around. Excuse me.
But Roger, with all the CPIs of Europe tomorrow, Euro, GBP, etc., I think they're going to be have quite an effect on all our trades with that forex.
I think we do. We opened up today with Anne, we asked that same question. We're in them, nothing we can do. We might get lucky, we might get unlucky. If you're in a profit, maybe you should put your stop loss up to break even to protect yourself before the release. We can't stop trading just because that comes out. The Canada came out today, might be somebody else will come out the next day. You can't stop trading on it. CPI US, on-farm payrolls US, different ball game. Otherwise, we've got to make a plan. It's got a bit of time till tomorrow. Be a little bit aware of it, but don't suddenly stop every trading on it. I'm just saying you're on the euro dollar now, and you're in 30 pips profit, or even 20 pips. Even your stop's going to be a bit close just before the release. Maybe bung it to entry just in case. If it goes your way, great. If it's a bit of a damn squib, move your stop back and let the trade run. Just think a little bit on your feet in that way. Okay.
Yes, thank you. We will.
Sorry, mate. Just give me a second. This is quite cool. Sorry, very important. Okay, just 1 second. Right. For a moment. Okay, sorry about that. Guys doing a big favor. So yeah. Right. Okay. So yeah, just hold on. And did you all get that, guys? If you're a pound or a euro position and you're in a profit, if it's 5 pips, it's too close. That's common sense. Use a bit of common sense, absolutely. But if you're about 20 or 30 away, not half an hour before, but maybe just before the release of the figures, just protect yourself instead of you get a bitch of it going wrong like it had a month or so ago when it suddenly kicked in with 20 pips in profit on the pound and we all got stopped out. So just protect yourself. And heaven knows, you might be lucky. It might go in your favor. Okay, but don't preempt it. Don't say, oh, by what do you think it's going to be? Well, I can give you an answer, but it's got no value to it. We don't know. Okay, I've seen a lot of experts say it's very much likelihood on previous knowledge coming out. Previous history, we were expecting that to happen, and it bloody well doesn't. So don't try and preempt it. See what happens. But can't say this Murphy's Law, but normally it doesn't have quite the same effect as the US ones. So CPI, if the CPI was coming up as to today, I would not be even thinking of getting anything in probably the day before. Remember how we had last week on that? Same sort of principle. But these are not quite important, but not as world shattering as US information, those two majors coming out. Okay, just so you're aware of that. And Marnie, I think you're around the last one. Pretty sure you were. But we'll do the next CPI, the next non-farm coming up in May, where we'll be doing something in that line where we do a straddle trade And so far, the results have been as expected. So we want a difference between the two. Even so, we still managed to make a profit. So if we get a disparity, it should do very nicely. They work well with basically on a damp squib. So can you imagine how it's going to do when it's a butte? You know what I mean? I mean, a big disparity. Okay, I hope that's all good. Any questions on that? All right, we'll go back to the NAS. Anything happening there? Probably dancing all the way up again. Thought so. We'll see that already. Should I mean? 15-minute comes. Oh, it's suddenly decided to stutter around there. That's all right because I'm going short. That's okay. What's gold doing? Hovering. At least it's hovering on the upside. That's fine. What about other trades? Quick check here. AUD CAD. Let's see anything's happening there. Nah. Talk about comfort. Click it. Is it dead? No, it's alive. Popped up, popped down. We're short it. Nothing's happening. Okay. At least it's breaking even. WTI, has it changed its mind now? Yeah, it's changed its mind. It's starting to come off a little bit. Let it run. US dollar, Swiss franc. What's the dollar doing before we look at it? Hovering a bit, but it looks like it might and should come off in theory. Yep, it's starting to come off a little bit. It's about breaking even. Well, it's not a down. It wasn't a profit, it's about breaking even. So nothing exciting, but nothing terrible on that front either. So that's the best I can do. I'm not sure we're going to be taking any more trades at the moment, unless you've got something you really like we can look at. But I think we'd probably just take it easy at the moment. It's a Marnie and company, because you've made some rather valuable questions. That's why I'm directing Marnie, but it's not just for mine, for everybody. Keep an eye on the price action. What does that price action tell you? The first thing you look at, that candle, what does that tell you? It tells you immediately indecision, doesn't it? Look at the price action on this candle here and this one here. That's decision, that's direction. Oh, that's a fundamental, but never mind. The point is that is direction. What's this? Indecision. Indecision, you get it? When you see the price action is indecision, you, I presume you're married, Marnie, and your husband is sitting in the car. One wants to go to Limpopo, I presume in Joburg, if you're not one. I'm just using an example. One wants to go to, I don't know, Limpopo, and you're in Joburg, and the other wants to go to Durban. And you start at Durban, you change your mind, go back, and you're fighting against each other. Neither can make your mind up. Frustrating as hell or hell. And your holiday's been wasted because you can't make your mind up whether you want to go Bella or Durban. You get my point? That's what's happening here. So just get that. When you see that, that's a warning sign. Well, it's a 15-minute chart, to be fair. Maybe it should look slightly longer. But the overall concept you can see is indecision. And when you see indecision, you want to be seriously careful about trying to get too cute. Farney's going to go long on this one, and Marnie's going to go short. Farney gets stopped out as long as it bounces down, then it shoots up and stops out Marnie on the short, and you both cry on each other's shoulders. You know what I mean? So be careful of this indecision kind of candles. And you don't need half a dozen books written on and studying, burning the midnight oil on indicators. That candle is telling you what the buyer and sellers are doing at the moment, and they're in equilibrium. You with me? Neither's in control. It's like having 100 kilogram on one side of the seesaw, 100 on the other. You want a 150 and a 50 or a 90 and 110 or something. So you got some direction. I hope that was some value as well. And it'll uncomplicate a lot of this stuff. Okay, I think it's just coming up to that completion now anyway. There's nothing else much. Unless there's anything else you want to question there. But there's only about half a dozen people left anyway. I hope I haven't sort of bored you too much. I hope you've gained some value out of it. And these are sort of things you want to get an understanding of. And because it took me a long time to crack this, quite frankly, and I was walling around all over the place, YouTube, this sort of thing, but found in that sort of nutshell what I'm going on today has put it into sort of a better concept. So those who stuck it out, the Kens, the Gerards, Farneys, Illans, and Marnies, and Pete's, and Tapellos, hope that's starting to make sense. Work on those, and then that'll sound a lot quicker than wading through hordes and hordes of books. Thank you, Marnie. Okay, guys.
Thank you, Roger, and everybody. It's always a pleasure attending the trading room. and I learn every session something. Appreciate it all.
And thank you for saying that, guys. Thank you. And that hopefully will help the newer guys and try and iron out some of the mistakes we can control. Brilliant. Catch you tomorrow. Cheers, guys. Thanks, Ed.